How's everybody doing today? My name is Juan Santos. I am a licensed counselor, and we are going to talk about ways to treat depression naturally without medication. And in no way am I saying medication is not the route to take. If that's your style, if it's a good fit, if it's supportive, by all means, go in that direction. I wanted to do this video on ways to naturally support depression because I always think it's interesting, to look at different avenues of support. And I had this nugget thrown at me by one of you awesome individuals out there. I appreciate that. As always, as you're watching this, send me a comment. Let me know what videos, you're looking for. I do not claim to know everything. I will study my butt off. I will do my best to learn, to grow so that I can show up here for you. Now, I want to share before I go into the 13 ways to treat depression naturally. I have an Etsy shop and I'm excited about it. I'm proud of it. It's got workbooks, it's got journals, it's got worksheets. Now, it's all about mental health. So there are therapy tools and there's self-help style, meaning that if you are looking for, let's say, a couple's workbook to help your relationship, check out the comment below in this video. The video description, check that out and you'll be able to see that link to the Etsy shop. There's a grief journal in there if you're navigating the grief process. There's a depression workbook, a self-esteem. There's some workbooks for kids. So what I did is I looked at what I'm doing. So this is a process. I'm looking at just what happens in a therapy room, what happens with those that I work with, what I'm learning from the research. And then I get that, I put it in a very clear way. My wife helps, and she's got that design eye. She's got a strong background in public health. And then we do it together. We create it so that you have a mental health tool that is affordable, that is there for you. Let me know what you think once you check one of them out. I really would love your feedback on it. All right, 13 ways to treat depression naturally without medication. The first one, and as I mentioned these, hang with me. I think you're going to like them all the way to the very end. The first one is sleep. Now, you may not have thought about that one, but here's why. Sleep helps to regulate your mood. When sleep's off, your mood's more than likely going to be off. I know that that's happened to me. I will not get a good night's rest, and the next day I am moody, I'm irritable, I'm annoyed, I'm on edge. So that's a natural way for you to help regulate, help support with depression, treat depression. The next one is vitamin D, right? So the sun out there has got a lot of vitamin D, and that's a wonderful way for us to really just go out there, soak it up, right? Get in front of it. My wife, she tells me she's a turtle, so whenever it's really sunny outside, she'll just get in front of the sun and go at it, right? Her vitamin D levels are just going really high. Now, what's happening in there, though, from a chemical point of view, whenever you are increasing that vitamin D, that's going to help with your mood. That's going to help with your sleep. That's going to help with reducing stress and feeling better. So it's not just getting sun. It's actually going a long way as far as helping depression. The next one on here is sticking to your boundaries. That is a natural way to treat depression. So if you think about this, right? Let's say that I have a boundary, a physical boundary where I don't like people to get too close because it makes me feel like you're invading my personal space. It makes me feel that if you get too close, you're not listening to me, so that I don't feel heard. I don't feel important. I feel that I'm being used, if you will. I want to stick to my boundaries because if I do not stick to my boundaries and people invade my boundaries, more than likely that's going to mean that my psyche, right, my mental health is going to be affected too. I'm going to feel a dip in my self-esteem and my self-confidence and my self-worth. And then that's going to directly boost up meaning in a negative way. My symptoms of depression are going to go up. I'm going to feel sad. I'm probably going to have a hard time making decisions, focusing, concentrating. My sleep is going to be off. And then I want you to think about that. I want you to really think about in your life. Consider what your boundaries are. Has anyone ever pushed past your boundaries in a negative way? And if that has taken place, what type of hurt took place in your internal self? More than likely, some type of hurt took place. That can directly connect to depression. So that's why it's so important for us when we look at treating depression naturally to really take time to focus on our boundaries. The next one to look at is visualization. Visualization is a wonderful exercise that we can do to support with depression. I'm just almost stuttering over my words here. Now, you may be wondering what visualization is. So we're going to do this one together. I'm going to use the word twice, visualize. So what you can do is you can visualize yourself going through like a process. So let's say that you are feeling like stuck in life. You're feeling like, I want to be in a better career. I should be further ahead. And that's causing you to feel low and to feel down and to not feel like you're natural, excited, genuine you. So you close your eyes, right? And I'm going to do it with you, right? We close our eyes. And then you start to see yourself doing that thing that you want to do, accomplishing that goal. And you do this just like I'm doing it. We're breathing a little bit. We're slowing down. My eyes are closed. And I'm visualizing myself succeeding in my job, helping others, helping myself. And it's making me smile. It's making me laugh. And I feel really proud of myself there in this moment. And I sit here. And I really enjoy what's happening. And then now open your eyes. Right. And I get in all ways, well, what's happened? Nothing's happened. But I think if you allow yourself, a lot has happened. If you allow yourself to think, to experience, to be in the moment, a lot has happened. Because this exercise, it lets you connect to what you're looking for. And if you think about it, depression, when we're depressed, and I tell myself, I'm never going to get to that place in life that I want to get to. I'm literally visualizing, right? I am visualizing with my eyes open. I could do my eyes closed and go, I'm never going to get to the place I want to get to. But it's the same thing. And this is where you could really comprehend it. You could really think of it. You can visualize in a positive way. You can visualize in a negative way. More often than not, people visualize in a negative way, right? We don't see ourselves succeeding. We don't see ourselves accomplishing goals, accomplishing tasks. And that increases the likelihood that we will not accomplish it. We will not do it because we're visualizing, right? We're visualizing that negative outcome. So all I'm asking here is to visualize the positive one. It's a wonderful way to naturally support with depression, naturally treat depression. Next one to go at is to look at your alcohol intake. Now, again, next one to look at here, meaning a way to treat depression. Alcohol intake directly hurts your sleep. It's a depressant. It breaks down muscles, right? So if you're out there and you're like, I'm working on my muscles, alcohol is going to kind of go in the wrong direction for you. And the big one I want to mention there is that it hurts your sleep. So as mentioned before in the very beginning, one of the ways to treat depression is better sleep. So if I'm trying to treat depression while drinking, it's really going to make it challenging. Give me a second. I'm going to get some water. All right. Next one on here. Oh, my voice is kind of going off a little bit. Excuse me. Thank you for bearing with me. Next one on here is having consistency with your bedtime and your meals. So you probably have experienced this in life where, let's say you got, you do, right? You have 7 days a week and your sleep is off, right? One day you're going to bed at 10, one day you're going to bed at 2 in the morning, one day you're going to bed at 7 p.m. That irregular sleep directly hurts your mood, your energy levels, which filters right into depression. So that's where if we look at treating depression naturally, it's important for us to have consistency with our schedule of our meals, consistency with our schedules of our sleep. That's one key item there to think about. Next one is your affirmations. Practicing affirmations is a wonderful, wonderful way to treat depression naturally. Affirmations in a very simple way are words that you utilize that can provide a positive effect. It could be healing affirmations, motivational affirmations, self-care, relationship, etc., etc. Some examples of affirmation could be, today's going to be a wonderful day. My mistakes do not define me. I am going to overcome challenges. I give myself space to cry. I am not weak. I am strong for crying, right? These are affirmations. And as you're hearing them, here's what they do. If I am trying to treat depression, that means that I am experiencing depression. If I'm experiencing depression, it means that my mood is probably off. My thoughts are probably not very healthy. So what can I do? I can give myself affirmations. An affirmation increases my mood, increases my self-esteem, increases my self-confidence. Right away, it just fights and combats those depressive symptoms. So it's a natural, wonderful way to treat and to address depression. The next one on here is be able to recognize your triggers, right? If I want to naturally treat depression, I got to figure out what this bad boy is all about. An example of that could be if I know that one of my triggers for depression is, let's say, skipping my workouts, right? And if I skip my workouts too many days during the week, I start to feel really bad about myself. What can I do? I can recognize, I can say, you know what? Just talking to myself, you know what, Juan? Whenever you skip your workouts during the week, you start to feel really low and low energy, lack of motivation, things kind of go in the wrong direction. So that's a trigger, right? That's this catalyst. I want to be able to acknowledge that one. It's a very simple black and white one. There's others that go much deeper. But the whole goal is that treating depression naturally is directly connected into the self-awareness that you have over your triggers, right? What are my triggers? And then from there, we go into the next one. Coping skills. Throw in coping skills once you know your triggers. If I know that my trigger is, let's say, negative judgmental comments coming from certain people, then I want to be able to have a coping skill where I have a boundary. That's my coping skill boundary to not be around that circle, because that circle is really coming into my space and leading me in the wrong direction. The next one on here is joining a support group. So as a licensed mental health counselor, I love having groups. From time to time in my practice over at Santos Counseling, we'll do therapy groups, and it's really neat. You have different individuals of wakes of life, if you will, but we all come in a similar area. I had a group at one time. It was a man's group helping men grow as husbands, grow as fathers. That was really amazing when we did that. Had a group in the past for individuals struggling with depression, and a couple of more. So overall, it's a wonderful way to treat depression because you don't feel alone. You feel like you're around other people that get you. You're like, yeah, you feel that too. I feel that too. And that gives you that sense of like warmth and comfort, versus feeling so alone, like you're the only one going through it. When, my friends, we are not the only ones going through it. So that's a really wonderful, natural way to treat depression there. The next one, another way to treat depression naturally is a routine, and sticking to a routine that has to-do list on there. Now, a routine, it's going to be, waking up at a certain time. We talked about that, going to bed at a certain time. But also, what are these nuggets within your routine? Like, is it exercising? Is it going to work? Is it completing certain tasks? And then your to-dos within that, chores, responsibilities, and so forth. That helps to give us a sense of accomplishment, feeling where we can praise ourselves and say, you know what, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a good job at life. And when you do that, when you give yourself that position of being proud of yourself, it right away increases self-esteem, increases self-confidence, increases self-worth, which support with addressing depression. Because when we feel depressed, self-esteem is down, self-confidence is down, self-worth is typically down. All those three selves are typically down when our depression symptoms are up. So then we address that by giving ourselves these to-do lists and by sticking to a routine. All right, my friends, I hope that you found this video helpful. I do. If you did, let me know. Like, subscribe. That is so helpful to the channel. I'm really working hard to grow this channel. That's my goal. I want to be able to support individuals that are looking for a place, a place here on YouTube that's totally free, where they can learn about different mental health areas, topics, and then how to navigate them. I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate you sharing time with me. Peace to you. Have an amazing day, my friends.